Welcome to Ellie Chat. Your home for exclusive news and commentary on the internet's only podcast about Candlepin bowling. Brought to you by the Lords of Candlepin, Frank DeLuca and Rich Lamoni. Email the show at alleychat.frankface.net. Now broadcasting from the heart of the Bay State, the host of Alley Chat, FrankFace.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of Alley Chat, the web's only Candlepin bowling podcast. Alley Chat went mobile this weekend, where my co-host Kyle Bruce and I were able to attend the final regular season stop of the Candlepin Pro Series. Lakeside Lanes was a generous host to this iconic 10-stringer, where massive scores were thrown amongst both shifts. In this Alley Chat exclusive, we catch up with Pro Series member Dave Barber to talk about what the future holds for the Pro Series. I'm your host FrankFace, and this is an Alley Chat exclusive.
Now, introducing from Manchester, New Hampshire, Lakeside Lanes, the president of the entire world, Dave Barber.
Thank you very much. Here he is, Dave Barber in the flesh.
So you're the one who does the intros.
No. Yes, he is.
No, of the whole show.
No, we pay people to do that. Right. We pay people with the big bucks. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dave Barber with us, president or committee member, whatever you want to call yourself, Dave.
You are president of the world, are you not?
Of the
committee member.
Okay.
Committee member. That's good enough for me.
Well, thanks for joining us, Dave. This is our last regular season event, the 10-stringer at Lakeside Lanes. Dave, we've had, 50 bowlers today, something like that?
50 on the nose today,
oh, okay.
Which
Good.
is pretty close to average for these 10-stringers. Last year we had 55, the year before around 60. It's been dwindling, but this is pretty close to average for the 10-stringers.
Yeah, I think it's a good turnout. It seems like pins are pretty tippy today.
Oh, they're falling pretty good, but there are times where it feels like you throw the same ball and you just... you don't get the same result, but overall, the pins are flying, and you can see it in the scores. There's a couple 180s already.
Yeah, we've had Brian Fuller throw 185, or Fuller Jr., I should say, 185. Congrats to him. Dave, how'd you bowl today?
I bowled pretty good. I had 1279. A lot of balls that, like I said, ball to ball, you feel like you throw the same ball, and one time it's a hammer. The next time it's a 2-2. Yeah. You have no idea what's going to come ball to ball, but overall I bowled well.
Is that an example, do you feel like, of a house being maybe too quick?
I think it's too juiced. I don't think this house is too quick. Normally it's a very fair, honest house. You get what you get. But I feel like it's a little too juiced.
For today?
For today.
Yes.
Do you think that was done because they knew we were coming in, or is it...
I don't know. I don't know if it's for us or if that's what they typically do.
Sure.
Or they maybe they did it yesterday or the day before. But it's clearly, I think it's been done recently, and it is what it is. It's the same conditions for
everyone.
Everybody.
So no one can complain about it then.
No, you can never complain about it.
Yeah. So Dave, how are things running with Pro Series this year? I know. Who are the committee members?
We started the year with myself, Jeff Surratt, Mike McIntosh, John Zappi, and Jim Putney. McIntosh moved to Florida, a few months ago, so he's out. Zappi has been hurt a little bit, hasn't been able to be around. He's still involved as much. We don't really do much other than show up to the tournament and run it. And Putney's still involved. But moving forward next year, I think we'll have maybe a few different faces add on. Nick Zuffalato, who's running the knockout bracket, has volunteered to help. Volunteered. By that I mean I asked him if...
Recruited him.
Yeah, hey... What do you think about helping out?
Okay.
And Nick Norcross as well. And really, anybody, we'll take any help that we can get. If there's somebody that'll come and run the 50-50 for us, or collect cards, or do anything for us, we're looking for all the help we can get, because we obviously have my wife Melissa and Jeff's wife Kristen. They're here entering the scores. doing all that for us all day long, and they do a fantastic job. And if we didn't have them, there is no way that we'd be able to run these tournaments and bowl at the same time.
Right, of course.
It's just not feasible, and huge. They're a big part of this. So without them, it wouldn't be the Pro Series.
Okay.
On our end, anyway.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks to Melissa and Kristen for their time. Dave, one question I wanted to ask you is: this year was the first year you eliminated the random draw doubles. Why was that?
It was a matter of participation. We had a lot of discussion about it, and we were taking 64 to make the cut. And in my mind, if we're taking 64, we should have 120 to 140 bowlers, and they're out there.
Agreed.
The bowlers are out there. It's just a matter of bringing them in. And that random draw doubles was one of our worst participation events. There was a few of them that we didn't even get 64 in the qualifying round.
Right.
So we had to reduce the number to 48. It seemed to be an unpopular. Somebody looks like just threw a four-bagger.
That would be Joe Smith.
Joe Smith.
Congratulations to him.
Wow.
Ho hum a four-bagger.
Yeah, just
Yes.
every day for Joe.
Yeah, why not? And for you for that.
What a great ball he throws.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
smooth. Right there. He's a fantastic bowler.
Sure.
But the random draw just seemed to be a tournament that wasn't drawing the participants that we thought it would, and we decided to eliminate it because we replaced it with a regular doubles tournament, which drew a significantly more amount of people.
Good. So it was a positive change then. That's excellent.
Why is attendance the biggest challenge, do you feel like, drawing people to the event?
Absolutely, 100%, and we've been trying to fix that. When we first started, we had 80 members. We had around 80 to 90 average at each tournament, and that lasted for the first couple of years. And then attendance just slowly dwindled. Last year we had about, I think, around 70 members. Now this year we have 57 or 58.
Okay.
And membership is dropping. There's a whole bunch of reasons why guys aren't bowling, whether it be injury or money or whatever it may be, which is fine. But if you look at the whole pool of bowlers, which we have done, and you list them all out, there's 150 plus bowlers that can compete and should be competing in these tournaments, and we're trying to figure out maybe why they're not. Why aren't they coming? And we've tried to make some changes in the past year or two to draw them back in. And this year, the attendance at each tournament has been down more than any other year. So we don't know. We're looking for what we're going to do at the end of the year is look for feedback as to why aren't some of these guys showing?
Sure.
Is it something we feel like we have a pretty good tournaments? They run pretty well. They're put together pretty well. The payouts are good. We're looking for feedback from the community to say, what's going on? Why aren't you showing? What can we do to get you to bowl?
Is there something psychological, perhaps, for a guy who averages 17, 18, and looks at maybe someone like yourself, or, Frank and I broke down the top 10 earlier for the standings going into today's event. Is there something that perhaps that kind of bowler looks at that advantage or that gap and says, gee, I don't know if I can compete?
Maybe it could be, but I can tell you from personal experience, this is our 6th year on the Pro Series. I've only won one event,
sure,
and I won the Pro Series playoffs. That's all I've won. And we're talking, we initially had 8 tournaments a year for the first 5 years. This is the first year we have, so we're talking 46 tournaments. Surratt's won a handful, but if you look at all the guys who won, there are plenty of guys. Joe did he just hit 200?
Yes, he did. Ladies and gentlemen, he is at 200 plus 2 balls.
200 with 2 balls to
yes,
fill?
Yes, he just threw a strike into a spare.
That's incredible. I wonder, does he have a 200 before this?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That'd be incredible.
It wouldn't surprise me if he had. But
what's the high string of on a pro or at a Pro Series event?
I believe it's 211 by Nate Neely.
Nate Neely, yeah.
Oh right, yeah. Because
Scott-
he did it against Mark Gregory.
Scott LaPierre had a 204 in the finals
At
of
New
the
Palace.
Ultimate Ladder at New Palace
Yep.
against Sean McKinley. And I don't know if there's another 200.
Stand by. An 8 drop.
I think that might have been a bogey.
Nate's was at bogey.
Yeah, okay,
And I,
yep.
and I think the old Pro Series record was Mike Morgan had a 212. I think was the highest in a Pro Tour. So it looks like a 209.
Yep, 209.
Unbelievable bowling by Joe Smith.
What was speaking of the Pro Tour? Can you talk a little bit about the genesis of the Pro Series?
So when I first started bowling on the Pro Tour, and this gets back to sort of your question before about the maybe some of the lower average bowlers. When I first started, I was 18, 19 years old, averaging 111, and I joined the Pro Tour, and there were, I think, about 70 or so guys that were on the tour, and I was 111, and I wasn't competing with those guys, but I came out and bowled, and that made me better.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what we don't see a lot in the Pro Series is guys that are around that average coming out and bowling with these guys because that's what makes you better. But over the years, it was 5, 6, 7 years, we went from 70 guys on the tour down to 60, 50. And my final year, when we decided to revamp and come out with the Pro Series, they had 28 guys on the tour, and half of them weren't coming back the next year. I was one of them. I said, this isn't worth it. It's not worth it for me to come drive 2+ hours
Sure.
to bowl against 28 other guys. And we had proposed this type of format, but it wasn't agreed upon by the tour. So we decided, you know what, let's go a different way. Let's try this and see what happens. And our first year, we got 80 members. So we got all these guys back. And the beauty of it is there's no upfront payment. The only thing you have to pay is your membership, and you don't even have to pay it. The only caveat is you don't earn points for the playoffs unless you pay a membership.
Right.
And it's head-to-head typically. So you make the cut, it's one-string matches, which anything can happen in a one-string match.
Absolutely.
You can throw 150 and lose, and we've seen it time and time again. The guys they have big strings and they lose, so anything can happen. And I think that's what's been what's made us successful with not just the higher average bowlers, but the guys in between. You know, the one teens. And I think that's what's made us really successful early on. But now we've had a drop-off, and the drop-off, I think, is more in the higher average bowlers. I think there are more of the guys 120 plus that aren't bowling compared to the one
No kidding.
teens. If you look around at some of the tournaments, a lot of the guys that are in between, say, 115, 119, a lot of those guys are showing up. But it's the 120 plus where we're having difficulty bringing them back and bringing them in. And that's where I don't know.
It's a hard question.
I don't know how to do it.
It's a hard question.
Sure. Do you think maybe it's a logistical thing, or money? Times are tight, or something? Who knows?
It could be. I know that there are some guys out there that the way we're structured, we have the membership fees. Those all go to the playoffs. We have that. The playoffs is basically. It's not. I don't want to say it's a free tournament, but you qualify based on how you perform during the year.
Sure.
And at each tournament, we take, say, on average, $150 from the tournament and put it towards the playoffs. And I know some guys have issue with that because they feel that money should go back. But if you look at it per bowler per payout, so you think we pay 16 guys, right, on average in a tournament. If you think about it, $150, it's an additional $10 per bowler in their pockets, which is peanuts. Whereas if we put that to the playoffs, historically we've had a day where you can win $1,200, $1,500 as a top prize. That's a huge payout in bowling, and something that we don't see anymore.
Right, of course.
Anywhere, really.
Anywhere.
You have the Easter tournament that pays out the biggest, and then I think we're the next. Most of our tournaments are between 700 and 1,000 for first, and then the playoffs are over 1,000 to win. That's a good payout. That's a good day.
No doubt about it. The lucky Friday nights, is it the best team you've ever bowled on? In terms of Friday nights now.
On Friday nights, definitely one of the, in terms of pure talent and ability, it absolutely is one of the best teams I've ever bowled on. Part of the reason, obviously, you have Boudreaux leading off and Surratt in the 5-hole.
Right.
You can't really argue with that on any team, no matter who's 2, 3, and 4. But I bowled with Sean Baker for 7 or 8 years now, and McKinley for 5 or 6, and we have a good time, and that's really what we look for every week. Is we bowl loose, we have a good time, we're gonna win.
Yeah.
The majority of the time. That's bowling loose and bowling comfortable. That's the key, and it certainly is on Friday nights one of the best teams I've ever been a part of.
And I think that's interesting, the element of chemistry, because you can have 5 guys that average 24, 25 and over, but I think that chemistry probably speaks to how your team can deal with crunch time. That final 5 in the third, you need a few marks in order to catch up, perhaps, goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely. We look at it, and Surratt's our anchor, but I always say to them, between Sean, who's anchored a ton in his life,
Of course.
I've done it for a while, Surratt's done it. I always say to them, we get 3, 4, and 5. Any one of us can be bowling 5. That's it gives us confidence. If the guy before you doesn't do it, you're going to step up and do it, or the guy after you is going to step up and do it. It's a confidence thing.
Yeah, I would argue that the chemistry thing among a team is just as important as getting up to the line and throwing the ball. If you can tough through, if you can grind through tough times where you're just splitting everything up, not carrying extra pins, you got to keep your head in it. You got to stay focused. You got to have a good time. After all, bowling, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't fun. So,
is there something? I'm sorry, I almost interrupted you.
No. I was just gonna agree on the chemistry. The chemistry is sometimes you can put the 5 best averages on a team, and then you can put 5 guys who are 124, like you said, 124, 25 on a team. They're not the best in the game, but if those guys are good together, bowl well together, they can beat that team.
sure.
Then that team of the best 5 bowlers in the game, yeah, they got to put up good numbers and good scores, but sometimes it doesn't always equate to winning.
Plus, I think especially if you've been bowling for a long time and you have your set lineup that's consistent. We talked about it, I believe it was last week.
Yes.
I think we said it was Ron's that has had the same lineup for the last couple of years, especially when you're a veteran club and that every day, it doesn't matter if it's a home match, road match, you're going to be bowling leadoff, or that you're going to be bowling anchor, and you've become accustomed to that role. You might become accustomed to that pressure, going back to that segment that we had about the anchor bowlers. So
right.
I think there's a lot to be said, not only for that chemistry, but about that continuity, perhaps. And that goes a long way, not only in the regular season, but going into the playoffs as well on Friday night. So,
oh, absolutely. We've had, for the most part, over the course of the past 6 or 7 years, on our Friday night team, whether it be Jonathan Boudreaux or Derek Leffler before him, they were the leadoff bowlers. They started 1, Sean McKinley's in 2, and depending on who was on the team at the time was in the 3rd hole, and then it was either Sean and then me, or now it's Sean in the 3 hole, me 4, Jeff 5. That's what it's going to be every week, and you're going to have your bad weeks, you're going to have your good weeks. It is what it is. We don't play too much with the order. The order is the order. Unless you don't want to be there anymore, or unless you want to move, that's your spot. And everybody is okay with it. And if I wasn't bowling 4th and was bowling 2nd or 3rd or 1st or 5th, it doesn't matter where I bowl. We still have to all do our jobs to win the match. So it doesn't matter where you bowl.
How long did it take you to acquire the mental part of the game, that kind of confidence in yourself that you can bowl? Or is that something that's always a work, something you always work on?
The mental confidence, as bad as I was when I first started taking bowling serious, I was not a good bowler. 13, 14 years old, I averaged 95, but I went out every time, and I just had that confidence that I'm going to beat you. And early on, I didn't do it. But I always had that confidence, like, it doesn't matter what you throw, I'm going to beat you. And then eventually you just get better, and you stop bowling with these guys, and you bowl on Friday nights, you bowl on the Pro Tour, you Pro Series, whatever it may be. And then you get better. And then you get to that point where you do beat one of these guys. And then all of a sudden, I can really do this. I can bowl. I can beat you. And for me, it's been, whether it's just a mentality. You go out every time thinking, I don't come to these tournaments thinking, I just hope I catch. I hope I make the cut. I want to win every single tournament.
Of course, that's why you're here.
I've won one, but that doesn't mean the next one isn't coming soon.
Sure.
And if you don't have that mentality, why bowl with these guys? You have to have that mentality, and a lot of these guys can do it. They can bowl, but they're not showing up, and they're not participating one reason or another.
And that's the challenge.
Yeah, and back to Pro Series, Dave. I've heard that you're now using only, is it ICBA houses or NBA houses?
No.
Okay.
So
I heard wrong then.
We have been.
Yep.
But the reason why we have been is a lot of these houses we're going back to. We're here at Lakeside today. The playoffs are at Woburn. We were at Metro, Academy, Lita. A lot of these
Big
houses, 20. Big 20, they're good to us. They treat us well. We like to go back. We know what to expect when we go there. So we like to go back, and we like to give them our business.
Sure.
And a lot of it, the last couple of years, has just been coincidence that they have been part of the NBA or ICBA, but it's not necessarily a
Qualifying factor in being a
Yes.
house that's considered for a stop.
Exactly. So we'll go anywhere, but we just need to, we need to work it out with the house ahead of time.
Well, all things considered, I think it's a good idea to, that's just my opinion, to have an NBA house or ICBA qualified house. Considering these are the best of the best, and some big games can be thrown. If you're going to a non-NBA house, non-ICBA house, you're not going to get recorded scores. It's not going to be recognized by either of those establishments, and that's kind of unfortunate. So,
case in point,
exactly.
Joe Smith, 209. Now he's 36 away from the record, but
what if it happened?
What if?
So
You just never know.
Of course. So I certainly encourage you to keep with NBA, ICBA houses or New Hampshire sanctioned houses as well. So, but you're doing a great job.
We appreciate it.
Well, I called you the president of the world to lead this segment in. I did call you that. But on a serious note, I want to thank you for all. I don't know how many thank yous you get. Maybe you're the type of person that doesn't really need it to hear it. But for all the work that you do, it's the first time I've ever really talked to you. So I think it might be easy to maybe overlook the contributions of yourself and not only the Pro Series committee, but I mean you're involved in a lot of things. I mean clearly this is in your blood. I mean that's obvious, but it's your passion too.
Yeah, when we started this, this is for the initial thought was this is for us. We want to bowl. We want to have tournaments. We want to have good turnouts. So this is for us, and that's why we do it. Continue to do it, and we do hear thank yous from a lot of people, and it's very much appreciated. And the girls, Melissa and Kristen, they appreciate it because they put in a lot of work. They put in a lot of their hours of time, and they do appreciate it. So we appreciate all the thank yous that we get overall. So it's a good thing, and I do want to just put it out there that if there's anything that anybody has an idea, criticism, anything, my email's out there, my phone's out there. I'm on all the Facebook pages.
Twitter?
I'm on Twitter.
Yes, you are on Twitter.
Yeah, I tweet a little bit. but if anybody, I'm an easy guy to get a hold of.
Sure.
So is Jeff. Come to us if you have an idea. If you have, hey, I didn't like this at the last tournament. Come to us, because maybe there's a reason why we did it. Maybe we've experienced it already, and,
Sure.
and we changed it for some reason. So come to us. We're open. We'll hear anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what it is. Come to us. We'll hear anybody.
Dave, I remember a couple of years ago during the summertime, you had an open forum type meeting at Lucky Strike just prior to the season. Do you think that's something you'll do again?
I actually I put it out there in one of the emails a couple months ago, and I will put it out there again, and I'll put it online. We are planning on doing another open forum, because I have some ideas personally for the Pro Series as to maybe not so much how we can make it better. I guess make it better. I don't know. I just to draw guys back in. So
Okay.
I have some ideas, and I want to bring anybody who wants to show, anybody who has an opinion, a criticism, anything, to come and say, hey, have you thought about this? And we can say, we have, and this is why we don't do it, or we've tried that, and it just didn't work the first time. And we are going to have another open forum. Bring whoever wants to come. Please come down. Tell us.
Very good.
And we'll put that out there. We'll set a date for it, and hopefully we get some good responses, because I think we have some pretty good ideas to make this worth it. As the numbers decline, make it worth it for guys to show up and bowl and maybe make a little money on the side.
Sure. Very good. Well, there you have it. Dave Barber, committee member of the Pro Series, doing a great job. Kyle, any closing remarks?
God be with you.
Barber, do you want to take this out? You signed us in. Might as well sign us out.
I did sign us in, and sure, I can sign us out. I thank you guys for having me on.
Of course.
I'll do it anytime for you. I think you guys are doing a great job with this. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
So thank you guys, and that's it.
All right. Well, there you have it. Dave Barber. We'll be back after this.
FrankFace.
Folks, that was Dave Barber, Pro Series committee member, on what's in store for the future of the tournaments. We hope you enjoyed listening today, and we love your feedback. Please be sure to check us out on the web at alleychat.frankface.net. Find our Facebook page by searching for AlleyChat, and we're also on Twitter at AlleyChat with 2 T's. We'd love to receive text messages and voicemails at 617-863-CHAT. That's 617-863-2428. For my co-host Kyle Bruce, I'm FrankFace, and thanks for listening to Alley Chat.